Poker Tour. The biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. The WPT is a series of international high-stakes poker tournaments that can turn amateur players into millionaires and make professionals into superstars. With millions of dollars on the line, it's time for these 6 players to live the dream of fame, fortune, and the one thing money can't buy, a WPT title. Tonight, on the World Poker Tour.
In the City of Angels, it's lights, cameras, and a whole lot of action at the multi-million-dollar LA Poker Classic. Let's get to it, shuffle up and deal.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the WPT. I'm Mike Sexton alongside Vince Van Patten, and tonight we're in Los Angeles. We're awaiting the start of one of the biggest poker tournaments of the season, the LA Poker Classic.
That's right, Mike. Big money at stake here in the land of the freeway. We're in La La Land. That's right, Los Angeles, California. And I'll tell you, the winner tonight's going to take home a big paycheck, $1.6 million. He'll also have a chance to put his name alongside former champions such as Gus Hansen, Antonio the Magician Esfandiari, Alan Gehring, and Michael the Grinder Mizrachi. What a bunch.
Well, we are close to Hollywood, so it's only fitting that the stars come out to play at the Commerce Casino, and tonight is no exception, as we've got the 2 biggest names in the poker world at this final table tonight.
That's true, Mike. We have Phil Ivey, a great player. He's out in front. He's got $4.1 million. And who knew it? Phil Hellmuth has made an appearance at the final table here on the World Poker Tour. He's got $2.4 million. He's in third chip position. Always entertaining to watch.
We've got another big name at this final table also. WPT champ Nam Lee going for his second WPT title tonight. Nam starting out in the short stack with just $1.1 million.
They'll be going up against 3 very tough competitors.
Vince, it looks like this one could be one for the history books, no doubt about it.
Lots of lying and bluffing about to begin. Let's go watch him gamble. We're about to get started. Antes are going to be 10,000. Blinds are 40 and 80,000. We have a star-studded field here in L.A.
Well, Vince, I got to tell you, I've got goosebumps myself here, because when you see Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth sitting at the same table, and one's got the chip lead and the other guy's sitting in third place in chip count, it just doesn't get better than this.
Action's on Scott Montgomery.
Scott got in this tournament by winning a $500 satellite online. Here you are at WPT final table. You look up, you see Phil Hellmuth and Phil Ivey on your right. Unbelievable.
All right, Scott quickly folds his hand.
Around the Quinn Doe. He's got the 10-9 of diamonds.
Suited connector. Very tempting sometimes.
Well, you always like to see flops with these kind of hands, but Quinn going to take the conservative route early on here. He folds. Nam Lee quickly folds. Hellmuth out as well.
Battle of the blinds. Phil Ivey with ace-9 going to pop it up.
Makes it $240,000 to go. Oh, and look at this. Woody Moore with Big Slick and Ace King lets out a deep sigh. Like, what do I do now?
All in.
Whoa.
Woody's going all in over the top on hand number 1.
Oh, is that the way they're going to play?
Wow. Well, the crowd goes wild. Woody is not going to get outplayed or outflopped by Phil Ivey. He's going to force him to gamble right now for $1.5 million of his $4 million in chips.
Of course, we saw Woody Moore at a final WPT table in Aruba a couple seasons back. He finished 4th.
Got the same shirt on, Vince.
I'm here representing all 50-year-olds and over. I have a big hand. I think my experience will prevail.
Woody Moore, a 4th place finisher.
You can read all the books you want, but experience is where it's at.
Woody Moore out of Dallas, Texas, now living in San Diego. He's a former executive in the oil business, and now he's retired, plays golf and poker. Not a bad life, huh?
Right now, Vince, I believe Woody's very content with the circumstances. He's going to be happy if he wins the pot right here. But because it's taken Ivey so long to make this decision, you have to know your ace king's the best hand right now. So you don't care if he plays or not.
Out in the audience tonight, Phil Ivey's friend Paul Darden, WPT champion, rooting him on.
Better sit down for this one.
Phil Ivey, he plays in the highest stakes cash games in the world on a daily basis. And when he plays tournaments, which is not that often, his record is incredible. And you can start with the World Poker Tour. Here's a guy who made more WPT final tables than any player in history. This is the 8th time he's made the final table. Incredibly, it's also the 8th time he's made the money on the World Poker Tour, meaning he's never finished 45th, 30th, 18th, 12th. He's always got to the final 6 if he's made it to the money. He's He's also never captured a WPT title. And Vince, you know that bothers him. Golly. Earlier this season at Mirage, he came to the final table with a big chip lead. He ended up going out 5th place in that tournament.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to, I'll call.
Oh, boy, he's made this call.
Wow. Phil Ivey has made the call. Vince, I'm shocked by that. I think Phil Ivey's poker instincts are as good as anybody's in the game. And for him to make a call like that, he is marching with 2 left feet.
Must not like money. Here's the flop. It's 6-3 deuce.
It's a great start for Woody Moore here. The only way Phil can win this pot is to catch a 9. They could split it if the board paired twice or a running 4 and a 5 came up. But right now, Woody Moore in a phenomenal position, not only to double up, but to take the lead at this final table.
Ivey shell-shocked there. He's imploding before our very eyes.
Well, Vince, he's had a lot of bad luck at WPT final tables before, but you can't fault this to bad luck. This is just poor play in my mind.
4th Street coming up. Will it be good for Woody? Yes.
Well, Jack of Hearts on the turn. Woody pumping his fist. He knows the only way he can get knocked out is if a 9 comes up. Woody also has a flush draw, so the 9 of hearts won't help him. We saw Quinn Doe fold the 9 of diamonds. So as it is, Phil Ivey can only catch 1 card in the deck to win this pot, and that's the 9 of spades.
River card coming up. Will it be a 9? No, it's a queen of clubs. Woody Moore taking down that pot, and it's a big one.
Well, Vince, I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised to see Phil Ivey gamble like that on deal number 1. And I say that because you're just not going to expect an amateur player to make a move on the first deal at the final table without having a big hand.
No, I agree. I think that was just a brain freeze there for Phil Ivey. He takes a misstep right there. Hand number 1, a huge pot going to Woody Moore. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more exciting action from the Commerce Casino in just a moment.
You're watching the best poker on television right here on the World Poker Tour.
I'm definitely hungry for it. I came here to win.
Everyone says that I want it more than anybody else.
I think I want it more than anybody at the table.
I just want to get the WPT curse off my back.
Hello, Mr. Cunningham. Alan, it's a big pot out there, buddy. I'm all in. Don't be scared.
I call.
Only a donkey would make that call.
We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Straight from day one, I said, if I try to play conservative and outplay these guys, I'll get killed. I have no chance.
That called 90,000.
But I've played enough that I know that even against better players, the one strategy that always works, crazy aggressive.
I just told the truth. It was a terrible play, that's all.
Crazy aggressive all the way. I'm not going to slow down, no matter what.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The LA Poker Classic continues from the Commerce Casino. And after hand number 1, Phil Ivey taking a very big hit right there.
Well, the crowd's shell-shocked right now that Ivey made that call for over $1.2 million with an ace-9 offsuit on deal number 1 at this final table. Woody Moore now the chip leader.
Cards being dealt second hand in play. Action's going to Phil Hellmuth, a poker brat. He peeks down at a jack 3 of clubs. Won't play that.
Well, Ivey looks down at an ace-queen. Just got burned on an ace-9 in the last pot. But he's going to raise it up here with the ace-queen. Makes it $230,000 to go.
Now Woody Moore going to lay down a king-4. Scott Montgomery.
Oh, look at this, Vince.
Wow.
He's picked up ace-king. Again, Phil Ivey dominated here.
660.
And Scott says $660,000 he's going to make it.
And now Quinn Doe with king-queen has folded. And Namely with the 6-7 of diamonds won't play that. So it's back on Phil Ivey.
And Vince, I hate to say it, but the last time we saw Phil Ivey on a WPT final table at the Mirage earlier this season, when he came to the final table as the big chip leader, this is exactly the way the guys played him there. He'd raise the pot, they'd come right over the top, and he was forced to give up a lot of hands. Or he'd make calls, they'd bet on the flop, and they'd take the pot away from him.
Scott Montgomery with a very good poker face there. He's got his mother, his friends, his sister in the audience rooting him on here tonight.
Now, Vince, we're talking about a guy that got in this tournament for a $500 online satellite. Guy's a former English teacher. You can only imagine what's going through Scott Montgomery's mind right now. Here he is. He's made it to this final table. He looks up. He sees the two biggest names in poker sitting across from him. And now he's playing a pot with one of them, and Ivey's made the call. And Phil Ivey has made the call, and Vince, I'll tell you one thing. If an ace comes up, this is going to get very bloody for Phil Ivey. Once again, he's up against the best hand. Scott Montgomery with the ace-king. Phil Ivey with the ace-queen. Now the flop has come 8-7 deuce. All different suits. Phil checks.
That's a blank for both players. Now will Scott Montgomery have the boldness to make the continuation bet? We will see. Nothing hitting, of course, on that flop. Did he do it?
800.
Yes, he does. He's going to stick in 800,000.
Hey, give him credit for that. Guy called a big raise before the flop. Now you haven't hit anything on the flop, and you still got the moxie to bet 800,000 into Phil Ivey.
And Phil looks like a deer caught in the headlights right now. Look at the eyes. Dilating. You're sickened. You feel like roadkill at this point.
He's going to be a lot sicker if he makes this call, Vince. I can tell you that.
You just love to be able to say, I'm all in, come over the top. But you just... Who can take that chance with nothing? No.
Well, Ivey does lay his hand down.
Bluff me.
But in two pots, he's lost over half his $4 million in chips.
Look at this now. Phil is saying you bluffed me. Twice he said it. You bluffed me. You bluffed me. Sort of.
Seems like I get off to these starts every time I sit down and play one of these tournaments.
Didn't have a pair, but he had to beat Phil. Just pipped you out right there.
Scott Montgomery feeling great right now. He picks up a nice pot, and now he moves into the chip lead.
I always expect to lose. I'd phone my family and say, yeah, I'm doing well, but you got to realize I'm going to be busted within the first couple of hours. So by the end of the day when I'm still here, I'm like, wow, that was unexpected.
Well, one thing we've learned out here on the World Poker Tour, it's not always the superstar that wins these final tables. At Foxwoods earlier this year, the final table had a couple WPT champs in the Nad Medic and Nick Schulman, yet the winner was amateur Mike Vella. And in Tunica, we saw Hoyt Corkins and Freddie D, former WPT champions, along with Min the Master Win in the Final Four against an amateur, a former collegiate wrestler, Brett Faustman, and Brett took down that title. So just because guys have a big name, Vince, doesn't mean that they're a shoo-in to win these final tables, because that is not at all the case.
All right, action is going to be on Phil Ivey. He's got Queen Jack, and he is going to call this.
He stopped raising. He's going to try calling once, see what happens.
Woody's out, and now Scott Montgomery going to lay down a 9-7.
Round to the mighty Quinn on the button. Down to the Queen 6 offsuit, lays it down.
Nam Lee with a Queen 8. He won't play that.
So we're around to Phil Hellmuth in the big blind, and he says, give us a flop. Well, this is the clash of the Titans, the two big names, the two Phils. Here comes a flop. The flop comes ace-4-3 with two diamonds. Hellmuth checks a wheel draw.
Nothing hitting there for Phil Ivey. He's going to check behind him. Here we go with the turn card.
Now a jack comes on the turn. Ivey now out in front with two jacks. Hellmuth checks. Ivey's going to bet 100,000 here.
And Hellmuth goes away. So for the first time tonight, Phil Ivey taking a pot.
Even though it's just blinds and antes, Vince, it's a morale booster for Phil Ivey. Just putting something back in your stack makes you feel better.
Well, he's thinking to himself, listen, I can't beat the amateurs, but, you know, I'll pick on my old boy, Phil Hellmuth here. At least I can take him down occasionally.
And I'll tell you, Vince, having them both at this final table, sitting side by side, I mean, this is fantastic. Just doesn't get better than this out here in the World Poker Tour.
All right, action goes to Mr. Luau. Woody Moore quickly folding his hand. Scott Montgomery now with the 4-5 of spades.
Depends on whether you're
Won't
13
play
or
that.
14 or 13.
Round to Quinn Doe. He looks down at a 10-8 offsuit. Quinn, a pretty conservative player, going to lay this hand down. Nam Lee on the button now. Has two deuces. I think Nam Lee's in the worst position at the table. And I say that because he's got the two Phils sitting behind him. Meaning it's tough to steal their blinds. It's tough to get by them. Nam Lee knows that, so he calls on the button with the two deuces.
Yep.
Hellmuth calls out of the small blind with a 10-3 of clubs. And Ivey with the jack-6 of hearts says, give us a flop. So the three big names at this final table, all involved in this pot. Here comes a flop. Flop comes ace, 4 deuce with 2 diamonds.
Nam Lee hitting a set there on the flop. 3 deuces, but they all check. He's going to play it slow.
Nam Lee checking 3 of a kind, and now has made 4 of a kind. He's got quads. 4 deuces for Nam Lee. Unbelievable. What he's saying right now is, please, one of you Phils, make a big move at this pot.
And well, Helmuth is checked, and Ivy's going to be the sucker here. He's going to make a bet with nothing. It looks like 100,000.
More bad timing for Ivy. Obviously, no card he can catch to win the pot. It's just a matter of how much he's going to lose. No way Nam Lee's going out. He has the best hand possible. He just calls. He's hoping Helmuth will come wandering into this pot some kind of way, but that doesn't happen.
An okie dokie quad call there.
No card can help Phil Ivey. If he tries to bluff at the river here, it's going to be more doom for him. So here comes the river card. Well, ace of clubs comes off on the river.
Scary card. He's not going to try to bluff anymore. He checks it.
Now, Ivey knows that Nam Lee is a rather solid player. Not going to call a bet on the turn without some kind of hand here, especially with Helmuth sitting behind him. And here comes Nam Lee. Going to bet 4 of a kind here.
Now I'm sticking the chips out there. But Phil wanting no more. Folds his hand.
And then anytime more chips have gone in there than the blinds and antes, and Phil Ivey's played the pot, he's lost it. Right now, these guys all treating him like a punching bag at this table, I can tell you that.
So far, Phil Ivey getting crushed by the guys here tonight at the LA Poker Classic. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action on the WPT.
Phil Helmuth is one of the best tournament players that's ever played.
Phil Ivey, he's playing some great poker, and I'm playing obviously near the top of my game. So neither one of us is going to make a stupid mistake.
I don't stay away from anybody when I sit down and play poker, and I don't think he does either. So he's going to be trying to get my chips, and I'm going to be trying to take his.
He may well go down as being the greatest all-around player of all time, but this is no limit hold'em, and this is the game where I have all the titles.
I think he's my lucky charm, so we'll see what happens.
We are back at the LA Poker Classic from the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles. 6 players remain. Blind's going to be 50 and 100,000.
And the 2 biggest names in poker at this final table, Phil Ivey and Phil Helmuth. But right now, the chip leader from Ontario, Canada, is Scott Montgomery, who got in this tournament on a $500 satellite. In second place, Woody Moore, Ivey and Helmuth sitting in 3rd and 4th chip position.
Back to the action. Phil Ivey, well, he's going to fold a hand.
First hand he's laid down. Woody Moore is reaching for raising chips.
250.
He's got the Jack 9 of clubs. He makes it 250,000 to go.
Now Scott Montgomery in the small blind with an ace-jack.
Well, Vince, when you're in the blind position, the guy on the button raises, you automatically think the guy's trying to pinch the pot and just steal the blinds. So Scott with a pretty nice hand here with an ace-jack. He's going to make the call for $250,000.
Around to Quinn Do. Originally out of Vietnam. Lives in Seattle and L.A. Has a restaurant called What the Pho. A noodle restaurant.
No.
And he's got king 6 of spades this time.
He's probably saying, what the pho do I do with this hand? Got the king 6 of spade, but there's a lot of money in the pot. Certainly a terrific price. And he is going to call too, so we're going to have 3-way action here.
Here comes the flop.
Well, the flop comes king, queen 7. Quinn Do has taken the lead with 2 kings. Action, however, is on Scott Montgomery. He has an ace-high straight draw, and he checks.
Quinn Do hit his pair of kings.
Quandary right now is Quinn Do wondering, do I check to the pre-flop raiser, or do I just go ahead and lead out and bet? I hate to give him a free card that could beat me. Quinn Do on the short stack right now at this final table is just going to lead right out and bet $350,000. Now that's not a big bet into a pot that's got over $800,000 in it.
And Mr. Luo says, how much you got there, son?
What he's wondering is, why would a guy bet into me when I raised it before the flop? So Woody might be putting him on 2 queens here, or 2 kings with a weak kicker, wondering if he came over the top of the guy, would the guy lay his hand down? But looking at Quinn Do's chip stack, he might be thinking, no, I don't think he will lay it down, because Quinn doesn't have that many chips left. Well, Woody does lay it down, Scott Montgomery also has a straight draw. His is the ace-high straight draw, but he lays it down. So Quindo getting on the board here, picking up his first pot at this final table. The mighty Quinn could make a mighty parlay as he got in this tournament on a $1,000 satellite. If he wins first place, he'll take home $1.6 million. That is something.
Yesterday, I played really solid to let them know my image is solid. And today, my strategy is different. If I want to win, I have to gamble it up. I'm going to play to win.
That is quite nice for the Noodle Man, the restaurant owner from Seattle. Well done.
And Vince, incredibly, the two biggest names in the game, the two Phils, Helmuth and Ivy, are the only two guys that have gone down in chip count at this final table. The other four guys have gone up.
Just no respect at this table. Going after millions here tonight in L.A.
It's over to the mighty Quinn. He looks down at an 8-3 of spades on the button.
I know he won't play that junk of a hand.
So it's a battle of the blinds between WPT champ Nam Lee and the all-time bracelet winner at the World Series of Poker, Phil Hellmuth.
Nam with a king-3 of clubs. Phil with a jack-8 offsuit.
So Nam limps in out of the small blind, and Hellmuth says, give us a flop. And here comes that flop. It's Jack 6-3 with two diamonds.
140.
Nam has flopped bottom pair and leads right out and bets 140,000. And now let's see what Phil Hellmuth is going to do as he has top pair.
Yep. Caught the jacks.
Hellmuth also has twice as many chips as Nam Lee does starting this pot.
How much more you have there?
So let's see what the best no-limit hold'em player in the world is going to do after flopping top pair. And I say that because I believe Phil Hellmuth is the #1 seed in every big buy-in no-limit hold'em tournament. He's going to make the call. Doesn't raise here with the two jacks. Wants to see another card first. In case it's a diamond or a straight card, I guess. Hellmuth out in front with the two jacks. And a king of hearts comes on the turn. Nam Lee now has top and bottom pair. He bet with the worst hand on the flop. He got called. Now he has the best hand. Let's see what he's going to do. Two hearts, two diamonds on the board.
350.
And he's going to bet 350,000.
350.
Now, if you're sitting in Hellmuth's seat, your two jacks with an 8 kicker doesn't look so good anymore.
No. But you let him peel off that card there by not raising on the flop. Yeah. And that's what happens sometimes. You can get outdrawn there.
Well, Hellmuth's going to be kicking himself if he loses this pot because he didn't raise on the flop. But right now, let's see what he's going to do here.
What do you have left? 600? I'm all in.
Wow, Hellmuth is going all in here.
He is.
Nam Lee quickly calls him.
God dang, he spiked a king on me.
Well, he spiked the king, Phil, because you let him spike one. You didn't raise him on the flop. And right now, the only way Hellmuth can win this pot is to catch a jack.
I've been waiting small blind against big blind against this kid for 2 days.
He's letting it all spill out now.
All those weak move-ins he made. All those weak bets, and you gave him a freaking king.
Well, folks, this is why Phil Hellmuth is known as the poker brat.
I mean, all these weak plays, and you gave him a king.
He's actually one of the biggest whiners in poker. He's criticizing Nam Lee. I think Nam made a great play here. He bet on the flop to try to take the pot right there.
So sick.
And then he hit the king on the turn. He let out. He got Hellmuth to move all in on him. And now Hellmuth's going to have to catch a jack to win the pot.
Yeah, Hellmuth in complete meltdown right now. Steaming like a cheap economy car.
Well, it's not over yet. Hellmuth could catch a jack on the river. But that's what it's going to take for him to win this pot. Well, the 10 of spade comes on the river. So WPT champ Nam Lee doubles up, and Phil Hellmuth gets up to walk around in circles, moaning about his bad luck, when in fact, I'm sure he's talking to himself about his bad play here, Vince.
Yeah. I knew I had him on the flop. I'm going to let him bluff one more time. I don't want a 6 or a 3 to come, that's all. I know no 6, no 3, no diamond. I'm playing with him. I'm going to let him bluff off another 300.
Well, Vince, I got to tell you, we're ranting and raving about the two biggest names in the poker world, Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth. Yet the two biggest mistakes at this table have come by them two players.
Well, you're right. The Phils are taking a beating here early on at the Commerce. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action in just a moment.
There is a story in every seat on the WPT. Find in-depth coverage on all your favorite players online at WPT on GSN.com.
The LA Poker Classic is considered definitely one of the top 5 tournaments in the world because of its prize pool and the way it's structured. The LA Poker Classic's been traditionally an exciting event because we've had great winners and great final tables. We had Gus Hansen win the inaugural event with the WPT in 2003. Also Antonio and the Grinder have also won championships here. Having both Phils at the final table is just going to create a tremendous atmosphere, and I think it's going to be one of the best final tables ever.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The LA Poker Classic from the Commerce Casino continues. And so far tonight, it has been pain and torture for the 2 Phils. They are taking their hits here tonight, Mike.
Well, Vince, you have to liken these guys to Babe Ruth. He was the all-time home run king for a long time in the baseball world, but also led the league in strikeouts almost every single season. So even the best make mistakes. Well, tonight, the 2 biggest mistakes at this final table have come by the 2 Phils, in my opinion.
Action's going to the restaurant man, the noodle guy, Quinn Do. 9-6 offsuit. He won't play that.
And to Nam Lee, who looks down at a King 9 offsuit.
WPT champion folds also.
He laid down the King 9, and Phil Hellmuth has the same hand, a King 9. He's got the short stack at this table, too. He's in 6 chip position now with just about $1 million in chips. And here he goes. He's going to fire 260,000 in the pot right here, looks like.
Going to play it fast. Now right behind him, though, Phil Ivey with ace-10 and the button.
Ivey in position, has more chips, and has the best hand. But still, if you're sitting in Ivey's seat, you just can't imagine Hellmuth's going to make a move in this spot without a hand. An ace-10 is not a bad hand, but when a guy raises in front of you who's on a short stack, you're not crazy about an ace-10, especially after you got burned by an ace-9 and ace-queen already at this final table. And Ivey does lay it down.
And now, Woody Moore. The small blind folds an 8-deuce. The only one to beat is Scott Montgomery. He's got a queen deuce of diamonds, the chip leader, but he goes away.
So Hellmuth, aggressive play, wins that pot for him.
Yeah, and a little bit of steam, perhaps, from the last hand. Made him push right there.
All week long, the WPT's Kimberly Lansing has been following the tournament action.
And right now, she's standing by with Layla.
What has been going on?
Well, first off, I think it's pretty amazing that we have 2 of the game's best players in the world with us tonight. The 2 Phils, of course. When we got down to 7 players, they went at it. Phil Hellmuth almost went from being the chip leader to bubbling the final table when his ace-king ran into Ivey's pocket aces. Of course, we saw a couple little blow-ups, which were very fun to watch, but he was able to gain the composure and the chips to make it here tonight.
Well, thank you so much. As usual, it's great having you on, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
It's always nice to hear from Kimberly. She does a great job covering the early rounds of the tournament online.
Yes, she does. And for those of you at home who haven't seen them, you can find Kimberly's reports online at WPT on GSN.com. Action's going to be on Hellmuth.
The one thing the Phils don't have is a WPT title on their resume. They're trying to do that tonight and fulfill that blank. But so far, it's not going well for either one of them.
Okay. And they both go out, and now it's on Woody Moore.
250.
Woody in what's known as the cutoff position, 1 in front of the button. He's going to raise it, make it 250,000 to go with the 10-8 of clubs.
Scott Montgomery behind him with 9-7, folds his hand. And now the restaurant man, the noodle guy, Quinn Do, with a queen jack.
Quinn's got 50,000 invested so far. Going to cost him another 200,000 to make the call, but he opts to lay it down.
And Nam Lee now with 9-10.
Tom's got 100,000 invested in the pot. Going to cost him another 150,000 to make the call. Well, Nam Lee recognizing he's getting good pot odds in this situation. Over 3-to-1 odds on his money.
Nam Lee, a WPT champion. Great player out of Los Angeles.
So he's getting a good price to make this call, and he opts to make it. So Nam with the 10-9, Woody with the 10-8. Here comes the flop. The flop comes king at 5-4 with 2 diamonds. No help to either player. Action's on Nam Lee. And look at this, Vince. He is reaching for chips here.
140.
He's going to bet 140,000 on a stone bluff. And without hesitation, Woody says, I raise. Woody Moore coming right over the top immediately with just a 10-8. He understands that if this guy had a king in his hand or a flush draw, he would get check raised in this situation. Just can't believe this guy would have that good a hand and lead out and bet. So Woody's going to come over the top to test the water, as we say.
Mr. Luau tasting the suckling pig right here. Coming over the top, and it's going to work.
Well, Nam Lee lays his hand down. So some nice old school poker by the savvy veteran there. Woody Moore, understanding the situation perfectly, raises it and takes the pot away from Nam Lee.
From the Commerce Casino, the LA Poker Classic continues. Stay tuned for more on the WPT.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic. 6 players remain. We have a classic going on here. 3 big names in the game. The 2 Phils, Ivy, Helmuth, Nam Lee, WPT champion, all going at it here tonight.
But our chip leader is a guy from Ontario, Canada, Scott Montgomery, former English teacher, who got in this tournament by winning a $500 online satellite. He is the toast of the town right now with over $4 million in chips.
Action's going on. WPT champion Nam Lee, who picks up big slick ace-king.
Oh, and it's ace-king suited, Vince, the ace-king of hearts. So just a premium hand for Nam Lee here.
270.
270,000 is the bet. And look at this, Vince, right behind him. Phil Hellmuth on the short stack with just $1 million in chips. Looks down at 2 jacks.
2 huge hands. Pair of jacks. Your Hellmuth. How to play this. Go over the top, all in. Just call. You certainly can't fold.
Notice Hellmuth continues to stare over at Nam Lee. He knows Nam's a very solid player. He's not going to raise under the gun, as we say, unless he has a premium hand. But still, there's only 3 hands in the deck that can beat you if you have 2 jacks. When you're on the short stack, I just can't imagine you don't get your chips in here. But let's see what he's going to do here with the jacks. He just makes the call. And I'm not fond of this play, and I say that because now there's so much money out there, you entice other players, including the blinds, to come in this pot as well. So now if you have to meet multiple players with 2 jacks, much tougher to do than beating 1 player with them.
Well, Phil Ivey with a king, queen of clubs, quickly calling this. Woody Moore out.
Well, here's a perfect example. More players coming into the pot.
Scott Montgomery, our chip leader, goes away.
Down to the big blind. The mighty Quinn looks down at the queen 3 offsuit, gets out of the way. So we've got 3-way action between the 3 big guns. It's ace-king versus 2 jacks versus king-queen suited. Right now, Hellmuth out in front with the 2 jacks. Here comes the flop. Oh, the flop is ace-10-3. Nam Lee has flopped a pair of aces. He now has the best hand. Top pair and top kicker, as we say.
650.
Gonna bet it.
He says 650,000.
660,000.
And all of a sudden, Helmuth's jacks have shrunk up, and he lays them down. Ivy throws away the gut shot straight draw. So Nam Lee picking up that pot. Most people would have got broke with the 2 jacks right there, me included. Hellmuth got away from him.
Call one before the flop.
I'll bust you.
Huh?
I'll bust you.
You bust me?
I guarantee.
Buddy, you have no idea how. I was hoping one of these guys would move all in so I could insta-call. That's what I was hoping. I had you beat. You had like 9s. I had a picture pair.
When Hellmuth telling me he had a picture pair, well, Ivy just staring down Phil Hellmuth there.
You had 9s, right?
No, the king, queen of clubs.
Not exactly, Phil, but you're still very impressive.
All right, back to the action. It's going to be on the mighty Quinn.
Plays a lot of poker here at the Commerce Casino. He has a king, 8 of diamonds, but he'll fold it.
Handicap, I played, shot 67.
Over to Nam Lee. Nam looks down at a 9-7.
I'm going to raise it up a little bit.
He
all
goes
in.
out, and Phil Hellmuth going to go all in with an ace-9 here.
Well, I can't blame him, Vince. He's on a short stack. He just has to go against the button and the blinds.
Now, Phil and Ivy has gone out, but Woody Moore says he's going to call.
Well, he has him dominated, Vince, just as he did Phil Ivey in the first hand of the night.
Scott Montgomery going away.
So Phil Hellmuth dodged a bullet on the last hand, not to go broke. Can he do it again? He's going to have a lot of help, and he knows it. Phil Hellmuth, who came to this final table with great expectations of taking down his first WPT title, is going to have to get very lucky to stay in the hunt to do just that.
I hear more 9s. I hear more 9s than queens out here.
Either way, it's all right, baby.
Yeah. It's always a play.
Well, Phil Hellmuth is laughing and chirping here, but that's only on the outside, folks. I guarantee you on the inside, he's sick as a dog right now. Knows how lucky he's got to get to win this pot. Let's see if he can do it. Everybody awaiting the flop. Here it comes. Well, it's come ace, jack, deuce. So both players have a pair of aces. Woody has him out-kicked, as we say. For Helmuth to take the lead in this pot, he's got to catch a 9.
I think I'm rooting
If it
for
came
like a deuce.
deuce, or jack, they would split the pot, or deuce, king, or jack, king. It would also be a split pot. But right now, Helmuth in bad shape to stay alive in this tournament.
Turn card coming up.
Well, a 7 of clubs comes off. That means Phil Helmuth must catch a 9 on the river to stay alive. And to further his woes, remember, Nam Lee folded a 9. So Helmuth has 2 outs to stay alive.
Yep.
He must catch a 9. But it comes a queen of clubs. So that's going to do it for the great Phil Helmuth. He came into this final table with great expectations. Unfortunately for him, wasn't meant to be tonight. Out in 6th place.
Shakes hands, going to pick up $229,000.
Good game, Phil. Good game.
Phil Helmuth has to say goodnight. A big ovation from the crowd. They love this guy.
All in all, not a bad week for Phil Helmuth, but he has still yet to capture a WPT title out tonight in 6th place.
We are down to 5 players in Los Angeles. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action on the WPT.
Once you think you're big in the game or your ego's too big, it can only hurt you. I'm still worried when's the next tournament I'm going to win. I'm still worried if I will ever cash again or if I will ever be back at the final table. So it's that kind of pressure that I have on myself. It just keeps me motivated and keeps me pushing and it keeps me learning.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten. 5 players left fighting it out for $1.6 million. And the big story tonight so far was that Phil Helmuth, who started this final table in 3rd chip position, out in 6th place.
That's right, $229,000 richer. Phil Helmuth up to talk to Layla.
Thanks, guys. Now, Phil, you and Phil Ivey made one of the best WPT final tables. I know how much you wanted this. You've won 11 WSOP bracelets and 0 WPT titles. Did you still have fun out there?
Yeah, I had fun at the end. It was fun kind of, joking around. And it was, it was pretty tough day for me, really.
Now, let me ask you, who do you think is going to win tonight if you could place your bets?
I think that Phil Ivey's playing better than I've ever seen him play, but he's still not a lock because Scott has a good read on Phil, and he just keeps coming over the top of him for like 3 straight days.
So you think Scott might have a chance?
He has a chance. He has a chance, but he is an amateur, and he has to stand up under the spotlight.
Well, everyone has to start somewhere, right? Even you were an amateur once upon a time.
All right, baby. Any other questions?
No other questions, but I'm going to let you go. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
The poker brat, Phil Helmuth, great player, dismissed here at the Commerce Casino. Let's go back down to the action. Phil Ivey quickly folding. Woody Moore going to take a rest, and now Scott Montgomery.
Yeah, once against me.
He's the chip leader. He's got ace-5. He is an English teacher by trade. Only been playing poker for 4 years. And he's the chip leader right now. What an opportunity for him. Blinds are still 50 and 100,000.
He's going to make it 300,000 to go.
Now it's on Quinn Doe.
Well, Quinn has a queen-jack offsuit. He also has the short stack at the table with just over $1 million in chips. 300,000 for him to call this bet. Another 250,000 he'd have to put in.
I'm all in.
Wow. And he's going for it right here. He's moved all in with the queen jack. The dealer pitches the blue all-in button on the table.
Yep. Nam Lee with a midlife crisis hand, 44, pair of 4s. Won't play that.
How much is it?
Now what's Scott Montgomery going to do? We can see he's got the best hand with the ace-5 offsuit.
Well, it's an $800,000 raise. Now he's thinking to himself, am I pot committed at this point?
Well, Vince, there's $1.5 million in the pot. Going to cost him another $800,000 to make the call.
800 more exactly.
When you have an ace in your hand, the worst you figure to be is about a 2-to-1 underdog, unless your opponent specifically has 2 aces. And that's not the case. The question is, do you want to gamble here for another $800,000 with the ace-5?
Well, Scott's an English teacher. Right now he wishes he was a math teacher to figure out exactly the right odds. Is he pot committed? Make a phenomenal call if he should call this.
I don't want to call, but I'm not going to fold, so I go.
Guy's trying to look.
He's made the call.
He's weak. Well, Scott must have read it. Or felt he was pot committed because he's made the call with the ace high, and what a call it is. Everybody mesmerized by both hands, I think, Vince. Both players playing very aggressively here. Now let's see who's going to get lucky and win the pot.
It is the English teacher up against the restaurant man. Here we go for the first three.
A queen right in the door. It's come queen 9-7. The mighty Quinn has taken the lead. Scott Montgomery a little dazed. He made what he felt was a great call, and now has been out-flopped. It is not over, though. He could catch an ace or hit 2 cards to make it straight. Well, a 9 comes off, so we are down to the river card, and Scott Montgomery must catch an ace to win this pot. Nothing else will do for him. Quinn Do perhaps picking the right time to gamble, and yes, a 10 comes off. He shoots his arms up in exultation as he doubles up through the chip leader. Well, the locals at the Commerce Casino love that. Quinn Do very popular here, plays here quite a bit. Has a lot of respect from these Commerce players, but Vince right there, he got lucky to win that pot.
Well, that is the biggest talent in the game, luck. Quinn Do just made it happen right there. Stay tuned. 5 players remain at the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour.
Oh, Edward, no, please don't come in. I know this must be difficult for you, and it's really not your fault. But I've met Troy now, and intellectually, he's more on my plane.
You got a plane?
Bad poker face. Doesn't matter when you play online at partypoker.com. It's fun, it's easy, it's the world's largest poker room.
Twin engine?
Now you can see all the early round coverage of this tournament and every tournament all year long online, only at WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic here at the Commerce Casino. I'm Layla Kaylee, and here's a recap to the race for the $1.6 million first place prize. Check it out. It started off as 1 for the record books, with 2 famous Phils going for their first WPT title. But after one bad beat for Helmuth,
God dang, he spiked a king on me.
the Poker Brat's dreams were shattered as he exited in 6. The great Phil Ivey was also fading fast after taking 2 huge hits from the start.
Seems like I get off to these starts every time I sit down and play one of these tournaments.
With 5 players left and $1.6 million on the line, can Phil Ivey lift the WPT curse? Or will one of these tough players snatch the title away from Phil yet again? And now back to our 2 classic commentators, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Thank you, Layla. 5 players remain, going after close to $1.6 million here tonight.
And on the last pot, we saw Quinn Do outdraw Scott Montgomery to double up. And that took Scott Montgomery out of the chip lead. Once again, Phil Ivey, who came to this final table as chip leader, has reassumed the chip lead, but not by much, Vince. All these players have over $2 million in chips. It's anybody's game. That's around to Phil Ivey. He lays down a 10-7 offsuit. So the battle of the blinds.
We'll play 10,000 a hole.
And it's on Woody here. Woody's got 7-5.
No one can take more than a double bogey on a hole.
He's talking golf instead.
Double bogey, but okay.
I'll tell you, these guys are both golf addicts. I played golf with both of them a lot.
He's made the call, but he's
negotiating golf right now.
If anyone shoots 85,
funny. Now it's on Scott, who has a 10-4 spades, but his man there, Woody, just talking golf still.
300 more.
We're both about the same handicap. I mean, ask Mike.
Oh, look at this. Scott Montgomery.
Yeah.
Says you're going to talk golf. I'm going to take down this pot. I've got the Highway Patrol hand, the 10-4, where most people would love to see a free flop with that hand, Vince. Yeah. Scott Montgomery just senses Woody must not have much if he's talking golf right now. And a great job by him, because it's over and out, as the Highway Patrol guy says, to Woody Moore on this hand.
If you saw me swing a golf club, you would not think.
You know, my father years ago taught me how to play poker and read the racing form at age 9. And I used to bring the racing form to the poker game at age 14, read it in between hands, to be patient. And my father said, how dare you? Get that racing form away from the table. When you're playing poker, you must strictly keep watching and observing at the table. We don't want distractions. You go to the track, that's when you get the form. Play poker, son. Okay, Quinn Doe folding this hand.
Nam Lee looks down at 2 deuces.
22, barely legal.
Well, the last time he had a pair of deuces, he made 4 of them, Vince.
Yes, he did.
Phil Ivey made a small bluff at him on that pot to no avail.
240.
Here he's going to bet 240,000.
Ivey folding.
600.
Woody Moore coming back over the top with a pair of 9s, saying 600 to go. Scott Montgomery quickly folding.
Well, Nam Lee's going to make the call here, Vince. He's going to try to flop 3 of a kind, catch 3 deuces, and perhaps double up here.
Make the call. I'm going to check dark.
And look at this. Woody is going to check in the dark.
Well, that's a very daring play with 2 9s. Oh, and he's flopped 3 9s here.
Just worked out tremendously for him.
And look at this.
Wow.
The check in the dark is going to lure Nam Lee into this pot. Nam betting 400,000 here. What Nam Lee is hoping for is that Woody's got something like ace, queen, ace, jack, where he'll get away from this hand.
Looks like a post-oak bet.
What he's talking about is Nam Lee going to bet 400,000 into a pot that had over 1.3 million in it.
Now, do you pop it up again, or do you just sort of just slow call? How to get the most out of your victim, so to speak.
That's 400,000? 400,000. I'll make it an even million.
Whoa!
He's raising it 600,000 more.
He's a great character. He really is. Great showman at the table. We've seen him steal many pots, and this time he has the goods.
He plays a better poker game than he looks like he would play.
Yeah, he does.
Which is to his strength.
Yep. Look at Nam. WPT champion. He's just going through the motions here.
It's even if you put your opponent on a queen jack in this situation, you wouldn't even be a favorite to win this pot with 2 deuces.
I got you beat. You're taking too long.
This is fluff and puff time.
You gonna show?
Huh?
Show if I fold?
No. You'll see it on TV. No, I can't show it. No. I'm not going to show it. I might have to show it, but I'm not going to show it unless I have to show it.
Oh. Meaning unless Nam Lee goes all in. Then he's going to proudly show it.
But I know I got you because you're taking too long.
Snake oil salesman right now.
He's telling the truth, though, Vince. But it's the truth that Nam thinks is deceiving. Nam Lee looked like he was mucking his hand. Woody shot his arms up in the air, and now Nam has pulled his cards back.
He's thinking about it.
He doesn't know if Woody has something like an ace-queen or an ace-jack.
He wants to see a reaction, and he got the reaction.
Oh, boy. Now it's back to think time for Nam Lee here as to what to do. And Vince, you know what happens in poker most of the time. You think long, you think wrong. Will all this acting by Woody lure Nam Lee into the pot? Or will he read it properly and let it go? And he does let it go. And Vince, you just have to wonder if Woody said just a thing or two too much. Well, the crowd wanted him to show, but here's the case, Vince. I believe if it was a bluff, he would have shown him.
I agree with that.
I want you to make sure you look at that on TV, okay?
Woody Moore playing impeccable poker. He's the talk of the table. He's the table captain. Stay tuned. 5 players remain going after millions. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour.
I've had so many phone calls of people calling me. They're watching on the World Poker Tour online. They've watched every hand. I mean, I've had probably 75 people call me, rooting me on, and we're all in your corner, wishing the best. So it's pretty exciting.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The antes and blinds have gone up. $20,000 antes. Blinds are going to be $60,000 and $120,000 as 5 players remain.
Well, that's $280,000 around to play now. It means you can't sit back and wait for hands all night long, because while you're waiting, you're getting antes and blinded off. You've got to get in there and mix it up some and pick up some pots.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. It's going to be on Nam Lee quickly folding. 8-4. Now Phil Ivey, who has kind of changed gears, folds his hand. Woody also out, so it's a battle of the blinds.
Scott Montgomery Looks down at a nice ace high.
360. He's going to raise it. Going to make it 360,000 to go. Into Quindo. Quinn's got a jack 4 of spades.
How much more?
Well, a short while back, Scott raised the pot with an ace 5. The mighty Quinn went all in with the queen jack, got lucky, won that pot and doubled up. Now he just has the jack 4 here, and he's going to make this call. So Vince, that image that he has of being a tight player is being dissolved here in my mind at this final table by some of the plays he's making.
Nice pot brewing, ace 7 up against jack 4. Here's the flop.
Well, the flop comes ace 9 5 with 2 spades. We could see some serious fireworks here. Scott has flopped top pair. The mighty Quinn has a flush draw.
It's on Scott. Is he going to make the continuation bet? No, he checks it.
Now what will the mighty Quinn do with his flush draw? He also checks. So a hand you think might get bet and raised gets checked down. Now the king of spade comes off. The mighty Quinn has made a flush. Scott Montgomery drawing dead.
It's on him first. 400.
But look at this. Scott is going to bet 400,000 here with the 2 aces. He's got top pair. Little does he know he's up against a flush where he's drawing dead. Now let's see how the mighty Quinn plays this flush. Do you want to raise right here? Do you want to just call and hope your opponent will fire some more chips at the river? What do? You
don't want to monkey around, let him outdraw you, but no, he's just going to call it. Interesting. They're going down to the river. Scott behind, drawing dead. Jack of clubs on the river. Absolutely irrelevant. Back on Scott. All in. Oh, he says all in.
I call.
The mighty Quinn quickly calls him with his flush and is going to win this pot and double up. Well, there's a hand that you wonder, had Scott bet on the flop, what the mighty Quinn would have done with his flush draw then. Chances are he would have got the chips in at that point. We'll never know, but he got them all in on the river somehow, and he picks up the pot as he doubles up. So Scott Montgomery, who was a massive chip leader just a moment ago, now in deep trouble here at this final table, nearly out of chips. Can hardly get through 1 round of blinds and antes before he'll be gone.
Yeah, complete catastrophe now for Scott Montgomery, the 26-year-old. Reversal of fortune right there.
Well, made a very peculiar all-in bet on the river there that cost him. See what he does here. He's picked up a jack 9 and he's moving all in. If I was in his position with that chip count, I'd be doing the same thing right now if I were him, Vince.
Quindo going out. Now Nam Lee. The buttons. He's 6'5". He won't play that.
And to Phil Ivey in the small blind. Phil lays down a 10-6 offsuit. So it's up to Woody.
I'm out, Mooch.
Woody's the guy who took Phil Hellmuth out of this tournament.
Why me?
He could put another notch on his pistol right here if he opts to play this pot.
Could have bragging rights back at the old luau if he should do that, and he's contemplating this.
He's got an ace high. You have to sense that your opponent is a little bit desperate right now on your left. Oh, Vince. 610,000 in the pot.
There he goes. He says call reluctantly.
Plus another 200 to call, so he does make the call, and he's going to love it as he has the best hand. He's the favorite to win this pot and eliminate Scott Montgomery from this tournament.
6.
If he does so, he will increase his chip lead. If not, we'll still have 5 players left. It's ace 6 for Woody, jack 9 for Scott.
I guess I'll go against my feeling and take that one.
Scott Montgomery going to have some help, or he'll be heading back north of the border. But still, a great tournament for him this week, no matter what happens.
Well, he's only been playing poker for about 4 years. His whole family in the audience rooting him on. He was the former chip leader here tonight. Big dreams, but right now, he's in a bit of trouble. There's the flop, and he gets a 9.
It's come queen 9-3 with 2 diamonds. Scott Montgomery out in front with the 2 9s. Woody's going to have to catch 2 running diamonds to make a flush, or an ace here. Of course, running 6s would do it.
A little luck for the Canadian. Turn card, 5 of spades.
So we are down to the river card. The only way Woody Moore can win this spot is to catch an ace on the river. He needs a bullet to shoot Scott Montgomery out of this tournament right now.
There's some hope for the English teacher. River card coming up.
Well, it's a jack. So Scott Montgomery doubling up to stay alive. Well, Vince, because Scott Montgomery was going to be in the blind on the next hand, I would have moved all in with a jack 9 too.
After I double up this hand, I'll be right back in this.
Sometimes you're forced to do things you don't like to do because of your chip count. There it pays off for Scott Montgomery.
And you know, you got to say he's a good sport. He's still smiling.
He's smiling because he's still alive with a shot at that $1.6 million.
And don't forget, Mike, he got in this tournament through a $500 satellite. Bargain time.
What a parlay this would be. And not only the win, Vince, but it was who was at this final table that you won against. Anybody that wins this final table tonight is going to have a great sense of achievement and accomplishment because of the competition that was here. So over to WPT champ Nam Lee, going for his second WPT title tonight. He looks down at Kojak. He's got the King Jack of Diamonds. Pretty nice hand in a short-handed poker game, especially when blinds and antes are this high.
350.
And yes, he is going to raise it. Going to make it 350,000. Phil Ivey out.
Woody quickly out as well.
Now it's back around to Scott. He's in the big blind. He has a Jack 8 off suit.
All in? Wow, he's going all in here, Vince. I'm very surprised by this play because Nam Lee is hot committed here, Vince, to play this pot. So Nam Lee does make the call. He has Scott dominated right now. It's King Jack versus Jack 8. And if Scott Montgomery is going to stay alive in this tournament, he's going to have to get very lucky right now.
The English teacher on the ropes right now. Nam Lee holding over him.
Nam Lee in great shape to win another pot and eliminate a player. Over $1.7 million in the pot.
Here comes the flop.
Well, flop comes 7-5-5. So no help for Scott Montgomery there. He is looking for an 8 or 2 running cards to make a straight. We wouldn't mind seeing the board pair of the 5 and pair of the 7 were to get a split pot, but that's not going to happen as the 3 of spade comes off. So we are down to the river card. And for Scott Montgomery to win this pot and stay alive in this tournament, he must catch an 8 on the river. If he doesn't catch a snowman, he's going to melt out of here. And that's the case as the 3 of clubs hits on the river. So Scott Montgomery from Ontario, Canada, who battled his way to the chip lead at one time at this final table, goes out tonight in 5th place.
Just a big effort from the young guy, 26 years old, 5th place finisher here. Gonna take home $296,000.
Well, Vince, he's got to feel good about his effort this week to come this far after getting in this tournament on a $500 satellite. But the last couple hands, I think he's going to be talking to himself about for quite a while to come. He was the chip leader, and then things unraveled for him.
So we have to say goodnight to Scott. We are down to 4 players at the LA Poker Classic. Who will take this title and the 1.6 that goes with it? We're coming back for more action in just a moment. Get stats, videos, and in-depth profiles on all your favorite WPT players.
Only at WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic. 4 players remain, going after close to $1.6 million. We're at the Commerce Casino. Annie's at 20,000, blinds are 60 and 120,000, and we have an upset in the making. Woody Moore, Mr. Luau out in front with $5.1 million.
And the big story so far tonight, Phil Hellmuth going out in 6th place, the first one out at this final table. But Phil Ivey, who came to this final table with the chip lead, now sits in 4th chip position in last place. Let's see if he can come back.
All right, action is going to be on Phil Ivey. And he looks down at a suited connector, 8-9 of clubs. And he seems to like it. He's going to pump it up a little bit, making it 300,000 to go.
Phil Ivey played very conservative after starting out aggressively and not doing well that way. Now changing gears with 4 players left, apparently raising it up there.
Woody Moore folding. Quinn Doe now. He's got a queen 4. Won't play that, so only one to beat is Nam Lee.
Well, Nam Lee has an ace 3 of hearts. Well, he's got 120,000 out there, and he's going to call 180,000 more. He makes the call.
All right, so we have action between these two. 9-8 up against ace 3. Here comes the flop.
Now the flop is ace 7-7 with 2 diamonds. Nam Lee has flopped aces up and checks.
Yep. And will Phil Ivey, with absolutely nothing, go in with a continuation bet? You better believe it.
Yep, he's going to bet 400,000 here. Action back on Nam Lee. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to make the call here, Vince.
Yep.
So Nam Lee calls for 400,000. That's got to turn the caution lights on for Phil Ivey right there. I mean, it's the kind of flop that you think a guy's got an ace or a 7, or he can't make a call in that spot.
Okay, turn card coming up.
Well, a 6 comes off. Now this gives Phil an open-end straight draw, but action's on Nam Lee, and Nam checks. And the question is, will Ivy bet the open-end straight draw, or will he take the free card off? Indeed he does. He checks. Here comes the river card. It's a 10. Phil Ivey is backdoor to straight. He's hit 2 running cards to make a straight. He now has the best hand, and Nam Lee quickly checks on the river. And for sure, Phil is going to bet now.
Looking down at the chips, he's racking them up, and there it is. It looks like $800,000 bet.
So Nam Lee's got to figure this out now. He knows Phil checked on the turn, and now he's betting on the river. He's just hoping Phil's bluffing, had some kind of busted flush draw. Didn't make anything. What's he going to do? Will he lay this hand down?
Well, it would be just an incredible laydown if he could possibly make it. But there's a lot of money out there.
A call.
And look at this. Nam Lee's going to be kicking himself because he has called it. Oh, boy.
Well, Vince, he shows the least emotion of anybody out here on the tour, but you could see a little frustration when he winged those cards in that time.
That is just a destiny card right there for Phil Ivey. This thing is turned around in a massive way.
Well, Vince, Nam Lee made the same mistake in that hand that Phil Hellmuth made earlier at this final table.
Nice catch, Phil. Sorry, buddy. Pretty sick.
When you outflop your opponent, put a little bet in there or raise right now to find out where you're at.
Nice catch.
He didn't do that, and it cost him dearly.
Well, it goes back to the old saying in poker, he who hesitates usually goes broke. Got to play bold, aggressive. You slow down for 1 second. Strange things happen to you. Let's go back down to the table. It's going to be on Woody Moore, the veteran at the table, 59 years young. He's our chip leader right now. And he's going to muck a 5-10.
Now we're over to Quinn Doe. He's on the button. He's a restaurant owner / professional poker player. Here he looks down at ace-jack of diamonds. That's a big hand in a short-handed poker game. See what he's going to do here. And he's waiting while Phil Ivey continues to stack up chips from the last pot.
350.
Well, Quinn makes it $350,000 to go on the button. Nam Lee quickly going out.
Only one to beat is Phil Ivey, and Phil has an ace-8 this time.
Well, he just got lucky and won the last pot to get a hold of some chips again. Going to cost him another $230,000 to make the call here. And Vince, it looks like he's going to make it. And once again, Phil Ivey is dominated. He's got ace-8. His opponent's got ace-jack. It's the ace in the middle card that ruined him earlier at this final table. Let's see what happens here. And the flop comes king 9-4 with 2 hearts. No help to either player.
No, and Phil Ivey's going to check it.
And the mighty Quinn checks right behind him.
Turn card coming up.
Oh, it's an ace. This could spell doom for Phil Ivey here. He's made top pair, but his opponent has a better kicker.
And Phil has quickly checked it again. And Quinn, he's not going to bet. He checks again.
Can't believe he checks there, Vince.
Can't either.
2 potential flushes out there.
Look at this, an 8 making Phil Ivey 2 pair aces and 8s.
Unbelievable that Phil Ivey has the best hand. Yes, there's a potential flush out there, but if you're sitting in Phil Ivey's seat, your opponent checked on the flop and on the turn, you're certain, or fairly certain, that your aces and 8s are the best hand.
And Phil Ivey is going to stick out a $500,000 and a quick call by Quinn.
And Vince, in back-to-back pots, Phil Ivey caught runner to win the pot. Lady Luck shining down on Ivey right now. No question about that. And with this pot, he ekes back into the chip lead after starting out in 4th place when there were 4 players left. Vince, the tide is turning for Phil Ivey in terms of the luck factor right now.
Well, with 8 attempts at the final table on the World Poker Tour, maybe this will be the lucky time for Phil Ivey. He'll take home his first title.
These guys are playing for some serious cash. Find out who's going to get it when the WPT returns. Don't go away.
I know I really want to win this event. It really means a lot to me, especially this being my 8th time. I'm going to do my best to win it. I think I got a good chance to win.
This is the one I want to win.
I want to win it just as bad as the next man. I feel like I almost deserve to win. I'm feeling good, man. I think I'm going to win it. I'm going to win this event. I feel as though it's owed to me. That's why I'm still playing poker tournaments and especially WPT events, because I do want to get it over with, and I don't like to lose. Anything besides the win today is going to be very disappointing.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic. 4 players remain going after the first place prize of $1.6 million. And right now, the new chip leader is Phil Ivey, back out in front with about 5.3 in chips.
Well, Phil started at this final table with a chip lead. Then with 4 players left, he was low man on the totem pole in 4th place. He's once again built his chips back up to where he's the chip leader. Right behind him is Woody Moore with 5.1 million in chips. Quindo with about 1.9 million, and Nomley with just over $1 million.
Back to Phil Ivey.
Well, he's got the suited connectors again, the 8-7 of clubs. Won a big pot earlier with the 9-8 of clubs. Here he just calls. Opts to limp in with the 8-7.
And Woody Moore with a jack deuce of spades. Also going to limp in.
Well, he's in position on the button, so he's looking to gamble.
And look at this. Quindo with a pair of 3s. He's called as well, so we could have a family pot.
I'm all in.
But no, Nam Lee says I'm all in. He's got ace-queen.
Nam Lee putting all the whole million out there right now with the ace-queen. Phil quickly going out. Woody out as well. We are around to the mighty Quinn, who has a pair of 3s. He could call him. Opts not to. So Nam Lee picking up a nice pot there by moving all in on him.
Well, he was short stacked. It's great when you get that dead money in the pot. You figure these guys can't raise. I could probably blow them out of there. So Nam Lee picks up a pretty good pot.
Closes the gap on the chip leaders. You have to admire not only the way Nam Lee plays poker, but the way he conducts himself at the final table. He's emotionless. He maintains composure at all times. Just one of the best in the business at that.
Let's go back down to the table. It's going to be on Quindo.
Well, he looks down at King-9 of diamonds.
350.
He's going to raise it. Makes it 350,000 to go.
Nam Lee quickly folding. Phil Ivey out. Woody with an ace-5 of diamonds is going to call.
Woody with the ace-5 of diamonds. Quinn with the king-9 of diamonds.
I better check dark.
And once again, Woody's going to check in the dark. It's very successful for him early on.
Oh, it's come 9-5 deuce. Great flop for Quindo. He's flopped top pair. Woody's flopped second pair with top kicker. And Quindo is reaching for chips.
400.
He's going to bet 400,000. And quickly Woody goes all in over the top.
I call.
Quindo calls him. Now, Vance, even though Woody's way behind here, I don't fault him at all for making this play. He's only an underdog if his opponent has a big pair. You're not going to put him on a 9 in this situation when the guy raised before the flop. Most of the time he'll have queen, king, jack in that spot. Ace-10, ace-jack, ace-queen. Unfortunately for Woody, his opponent's got king-9 here, and he's going to have to catch 2 running diamonds to make a flush, 2 cards to make a straight, or an ace or a 5.
I had a real good feeling about it.
Otherwise, Quindo is going to double up here.
Can he pull out of this, suck out, and knock out Quindo? Not there.
Well, it's a 10 of spade, so we are down to the river card. Woody Moore must catch an ace or a 5. That's all that will do it for him. Otherwise, the mighty Quinn is going to double up. Quindo's tournament life on the line. He's just got to dodge an ace or a 5, and he does it as a 4 comes up. And what a pot this is, over $3 million in this pot. And the mighty Quinn pumps his fist and sits back down with a smile on his face.
Nicely done. He doubles up in a big way. Quindo got in this tournament through a $1,000 satellite. He is running up his cash right now. Stay tuned. We're coming back for more at the LA Poker Classic.
Welcome back to the Commerce Casino, where one player is about to win $1.6 million. Let's not waste any more time and get back to the action.
Our current chip leader is the legendary Phil Ivey. He's sitting on over $6 million in chips. Second place, Woody Moore, who just took a big hit that last pot. Doubling up Quindo. Woody has about $3 million in chips. Quindo with $2.5 million. Nam Lee in 4th place right now with $1.4 million.
And in this hand, Phil Ivey has quickly folded, and Woody Moore,
400,000.
Mr. Luau with king-8 of diamonds is going to raise.
Yep, he's going to make it 400,000 to go. And look at this, Vince. The mighty Quinn picking up the exact same hand he had a moment ago. The last hand, he just doubled up with the king-9 of diamonds. This time he's got the king-9 of hearts.
Quinn got in this tournament through a $1,000 satellite. Didn't have to pay the $10,000.
I'm all in.
Wow, he's going all in here. Well, he's found a hand he likes, Vance. That's the king-9. He doubled up with it the last hand. Here he's moved all in with it.
Yeah, that was lucky hand, but right behind him, Nam Lee with a pair of 7s.
Oh, boy. Nam Lee now caught between a rock and a hard place. The first guy raised it to 400,000. The second guy moved all in over the top. And when you have middle pair like this against two players, just not the kind of hand that you want to come into the pot with. At best, you'll be in some type of race situation, and you could be dominated. So Nam Lee faced with a tough decision here as to what to do. And he's going to lay down the 2 sevens. I don't blame him. I would have laid him down 2 in that situation. Woody going out as well. So the mighty Quinn playing very aggressive right now. Twice in a row he's won pots with a king-9, all in both times.
This is his first final table and his second cash here on the World Poker Tour.
And eventually, you always wonder what might have happened in certain situations. If Quindo just makes a call there, perhaps, or just throws his hand away, I guarantee you Nam Lee is going to move all in with the 2 sevens.
Yeah, you're right.
And chances are he would have won that pot instead of got shut out of it.
All right, back to this one. Woody Moore quickly folding a hand. And Quindo now with the Queen 10 with the button. Best position in poker. React fast throughout the hand.
But he's going to limp in and call on the button.
Yes, he does. And now Nam Lee, look at this. He has picked up the weapons of mass destruction. Pair of aces.
450.
And he's going to raise it. Makes it 450,000 to go. Ivy quickly going out. Quindo facing a raise here.
And it's a $330,000 raise.
Turn him over, Phil. Oh. Can't call you. I see.
Well, Quindo says, I can't call you with the queen high. So Nam Lee taking down that pot.
Quinn is looking over at his friend's hand. He peeks.
Show one, show up.
Aces.
Aces.
And Nam Lee just sitting there trying to figure out what happened there. Why couldn't somebody have made a move when I had the bullets? It's a case, Vince, that even though you win the pot, it's a pretty small pot, and you're always wishing you had more action with the 2 aces.
4 players remain going after big bucks. We're coming back with more action. Stay with us.
Are you good enough to play on the World Poker Tour? Find out right now online at WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the Commerce Casino. We are at the LA Poker Classic. We still have 4 players remaining, and right now Phil Ivey getting closer to his first title win here on the WPT. He's got $7.1 million in chips.
This is his 8th WPT final table. He has yet to win a title. Desperately wants one. He's in great shape to capture it tonight. Let's see if he can hold on to the chip lead and cross the finish line with the trophy and the cash tonight.
All right, it's going to be on Woody Moore, the former oilman from Texas.
And Woody, who started out with a bang tonight, has been into a lull lately. Playing very conservative. Here he looks at a 6-5 of clubs, lays it down. Quindo goes out as well.
And Nam Lee looking once again down at a pair of aces.
Absolutely incredible. Nam is picking up some cards. The last time he had 2 aces, he got no action on them. Let's see what happens here.
420.
Well, he's going to raise it. Not going to slow play him. Comes in for 420,000. Oh, and look at this. This could be interesting. Phil Ivey has picked up a pair himself. He's got 2 threes.
Come on, man.
Phil Ivey says all in. A quick call, of course, by Nam Lee.
Well, music to Nam Lee's ears. He's got 2 aces. Phil Ivey's got 2 threes. Unbelievable. Nam Lee in great shape to double up here and win this $2.6 million pot.
WPT champion Nam Lee with a huge opportunity. This would get him back in second chip position if his hand should hold up, with a true shot of taking down his second WPT championship.
Well, we say Nam Lee didn't show much emotion. Most people will be dancing around the room when they had their money all in with 2 aces against 2 threes. Nam just waiting to see the flop, and it's a good one for him.
Yeah.
It's come 10-6 deuce. Nam Lee's 2 aces out front. Phil Ivey's going to have to catch a 3 to take the lead, or a running 4-5 to make a straight to win this pot.
So perhaps a little revenge here for Nam against Phil Ivey. Still got to sweat out a couple cards. Here we go with the turn card.
Oh! Wow! A 3 comes off. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. As the 3 peels off on the turn, Nam Lee absolutely devastated right now. You can see the look in his eye. Wow. Unbelievable. Namli must catch an ace on the river to stay alive in this tournament.
What a suck out for Phil Ivey right there. Pain in the room at the Commerce Casino. River card.
Well, that's a queen. Well, that's going to do it for Namli, the WPT champ. His heart broken right now, Vince. What a devastating blow. He fought and fought and fought at this final table to stay alive. Finally gets in a spot, the dream situation, where you can double up with 2 aces. Then, bam, your opponent hits lightning on the turn, and you're walking out of here in 4th place. Wow.
$411,000 he will pick up for this week's work. Namli body bagged out of here in 4th place.
And Vince, Phil Ivey has always said in the past he's never been lucky at these WPT final tables. He cannot say that tonight. He had 2 running cards on 2 hands to win earlier, but nothing topped this. He had 2 threes. He cracked the 2 aces to win that pot to take a commanding lead with 3 players left. Let's see if he can cross the finish line and capture his first WPT title tonight. Right now, you have to think destiny is on his side.
Have you won a few of these, or?
Never.
Really?
I won a bunch of World Series tournaments.
Well, good for you, sir. You're looking great.
All right, back to the money pit. Quinn Do, the restaurateur, owns a Vietnamese noodles house up in Seattle, also plays a fine game of poker. He quickly folds his hand.
And Phil Ivey looks at an 8-7 and limps in. Woody with a 6 deuce. Happy to see a free flop here.
Okay, a couple junk hands. Here we go.
Well, it's come 8-5 deuce. Phil Ivey has flopped top pair. Woody has flopped bottom pair. And Phil leads right out in bets. 200,000.
Yep. They both got a piece of that.
Woody trying to figure out what to do. Wondering if Phil Ivey's just making a move. Does he have some type of straight draw? Could he have a flush draw? Or is he on a stone bluff? Now you see Woody shaking his head in a negative fashion. Does it again.
I go.
Well, his head said no, but his mind said yes because he makes the call here. So Woody Moore on the short stack and in bad shape here. He's got bottom pair. He's up against top pair. And a 7 comes off.
Oh, wow.
Phil Ivey now has the top 2 pair. Woody has bottom pair and an open-end straight draw.
And Phil's first to act.
And Vance with a potential flush and a potential straight out there.
He's going to bet at 400,000.
I'm all in.
All in?
And quickly, Woody goes all in.
Call.
You call?
With bottom pair and an open-end straight draw. Phil Ivey calls him with the top 2 pair. So Woody Moore must catch a 9 or a 4 to make a straight, or a deuce to make 3 deuces. That's all he can catch to win this pot. He must catch a 9, 4, or a deuce to stay alive in this tournament. Can he do it?
I got a straight draw and a pair of deuces.
He has played so nicely all night long. Great bluffs, great strength. A real character at the table right now. The former oilman. The luau could be over for him.
As the cards lie, Phil Ivey over a 3-1 favorite to win this pot and eliminate yet another player at this final table and take 1 step closer to capturing his first WPT title.
I got a good feeling.
I don't know. I'm neutral.
Well, everybody's laughing, enjoying themselves. Woody knows he's got to have help. Let's see if he can get it. Nope, a jack comes off. So that's going to do it for Woody Moore. But Vince, what a tournament he had. Plenty of entertainment, lots of fun. Enjoyed himself, made some great poker plays at this final table. But in the end, out in 3rd place.
Yes, he had a great time. He's an entertaining player. He's going to pick up $625,000 here at the LA Poker Classic. So we are down to 2 players. The heads-up battle about to begin between Phil Ivey and Quinn Do.
As is the custom on the World Poker Tour, when we get down to heads-up play, we have our money presentation. So show us the money.
Here come out the Commerce Cuties.
With plenty of cash, Vince. That's over $2 million they're putting on the table. Surrounding that beautiful trophy they give away to the winner here at the Commerce Casino. A Remington statue. Probably the nicest trophy on the tour, but the real trophy to these guys is taking home that WPT title and the $1.6 million that goes with the winner.
And of course, the WPT chip set It is all there on the line, up for grabs. Will Phil Ivey take home his first WPT title, or will it go to the restaurant owner Quinn Do? We will see. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action here on the World Poker Tour.
Is he bluffing? I think he's trying to bluff me here. I bet that ace hit. What is he thinking? What is he trying? When the ace came off on 4th Street, he played with his chips. 13 to 1, 12 to 1, 16 to 4 to 1, 8 to 2. Makes my 2 pair good. Unless I'm drawing dead. I like my chances. I'm all in. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Welcome back to the WPT. The LA Poker Classic continues. Heads-up action about to begin. We've got Phil Ivey, our chip leader. He'd love to become champion. He has to get past Quinn Do, the restaurant owner from Seattle.
Quinn Do also calls himself a professional poker player. Plays a lot right here at the Commerce Casino.
All right, the blinds are still 80 and 160,000. Action on Phil Ivey, who's got a queen 6 of diamonds.
He's going to limp in and make the call on the button.
And Quinn Do with an 8 deuce of clubs.
We're happy to get a free flop here. And indeed he is as he checks.
So it's queen 6 of diamonds up against 8 deuce of clubs.
What's come ace 6-5 with 2 diamonds. What a flop for Phil Ivey. He's got 2 6s and a diamond flush draw. Action is on Quinn, however. He checks.
And now Phil 4 flushing and pairing there.
Well, he's got one of those hands that you're just hoping to get to go with. He bets the minimum bet here, 160,000. He's hoping his opponent has some kind of hand he can raise with, or one he'll make a move with.
Yep. Especially because Phil didn't raise before the flop. He's not going to be put on an ace. But no.
Quinn Do lays the hand down. So Phil Ivey taking down that pot to take one step closer to capturing his first WPT title. And Vince, we have a lot of stats on WPT on GSN.com, but I don't believe there's any stat better than the one Phil Ivey owns. He's made the money 8 times on the World Poker Tour. All 8 times he's made it down to the final 6 places. That is incredible, because some events we pay 45 players, 60 players, 100 and some players in the championship event. It's incredible that every time this guy gets the money, he makes it to the final 6.
Back to the action. Quinn Do now with the button. And he's got one of those suited connectors, 8 9 of hearts.
Yep, he's got this kind of hand you want to see flops with. Quinn Do limps in and makes the call on the button with the 9 8 of hearts.
But Phil right behind him with an ace 8.
Well, when a guy limps in on the button, you have to assume that your ace high is the best hand. The only way it's not is if your opponent is trapping.
400.
And Phil Ivey's going to raise it up, making an additional 400,000 to go.
Well, this is a nice bet by Phil Ivey here. Figures the ace high is the best hand. Indeed it is. In fact, he's got his opponent in great shape here. He's got an ace 8. His opponent's got a 9 8.
Cool.
But Quinn Do is going to make the call for another 400,000. So here we go. Over 1.1 million in the pot right now. Phil with the ace 8. Quinn with the 9 8 of hearts. Here comes that flop. It's come ace 8 6, all spades. Phil Ivey has flopped the top 2 pair. Quinn Do has flopped the second pair. But there are 3 spades.
Neither player has a spade, but a big flop for Phil Ivey. 2 pair on the flop, and he's coming up to bet 700,000. And now Quinn with just a pair of 8s, no spade. And you call this, you're going into the point of no return. It's a $700,000 bet.
Cool.
Oh boy, he's going to make this call nevertheless.
So Quinn Do, virtually drawing dead, must hit 9-9 to win this pot.
Deeply invested.
2 running spades would give him a split pot. But right now, Phil Ivey in a dominating position to win this pot. And an ace comes off. Wow. Phil Ivey has aces full of 8s. There's no hand that can beat him right now. He has the very best hand possible. It's a dream scenario for Phil Ivey. Notice he didn't flinch when that ace came off, Vince.
I'm all in.
He's going all in here. He just suspects that Quinn called him on the flop. He must have something, whether it's a flush draw, an ace, a pair, something. He is just praying to himself right now that this man calls him. He's saying, please call me, please call me, please call me so I can put that trophy on my mantle.
Doesn't have to call here. You can muck this and wait for another day. Down to your last million. But his suspicion is Phil's trying to roll him over on this one.
Quinn getting his chips out. Is he going to make the call? If so, this party is over. Phil Ivey will wear the crown and capture that elusive first WPT title of his.
Along with that title, $1.6 million.
Folks, it's tough to make these WPT final tables. Phil Ivey has done it 8 times, more than any other player in the world.
I call.
Oh, boy.
And he makes a call.
He's done
and
it.
Phil Ivey has done it. It is over. Phil Ivey is our champion. He has finally captured a WPT title. So Quinn Do took a long time to think about what to do. Finally made the wrong decision.
What can you say? Phil Ivey, the man that blew out of final tables with ace-queen numerous times, never got lucky, has finally done it. Get some luck here tonight at the LA Poker Classic.
Well, the river cards of 4 clubs makes no difference. Phil Ivey wins this pot with aces full of 8s. He has finally captured a WPT title.
Not much you can say. We saw, poker brilliance. Probably the biggest name in the game. Taking home his first WPT title with that close to $1.6 million. Phil Ivey's our champion at the Commerce Casino.
Champion of the LA Poker Classic, the greatest poker player in the world, Phil Ivey. For Vince Van Patten, Layla Cayley, Kimberly Lansing, and everyone at the World Poker Tour, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters.